with the bunny makeover very soon. So let me get ready and check all of the devices. Okay, looks like we are in the good connection. Checking on the table. Okay, according to what I see on my computer, we seem to be fine. I think you can hear me. So that should be a great start. Guess who that is? This is the bunny. So very soon we are going to take care of it. I'm just going to make sure everybody will have a chance to join. This is a good moment to share the live stream link wherever you want, on the Instagram or on Facebook. You can just post the link and share with your friends. The more people, the better. Yes, I've added the wings because I wanted to add something special. I will explain the process, of course, but I wanted this to be ready. So this is the fairy rabbit, or fairy bunny. So hello, hello everybody. We're going to start soon. Welcome on my YouTube channel. And just put the camera in the right position. Welcome in my studio in East Galway in Ireland. And we have a project that is going to be good for beginners, I think, and showing the magical power of mixed media. I'm just making sure my hair is like not as messy. It's not supposed to be super complicated. It is more like, what are the efficient techniques to give a new look to something we may not like. So there are some things that we get and they have a lot of potential. However, they have some serious issues, and you can see the face of that bunny. It's a little bit problematic face, especially the eyes. And also, to be honest, I've seen better painting in my life. The shape is fine. I even added the wings. I'm going to give you information how it was done, so don't worry. But I needed to make sure it is fully attached for our live stream, so I had to make it in advance. It is not the most beautiful home decor. It is not going to be strictly Easter project because I want this rabbit to be like all year round decoration. But of course, this little plate here may have a function of keeping some Easter eggs. But you can also put some jewelry here and use it in your bedroom, or you can put some, make it your car key holder, or you can put some pretty stones in here, or dry flowers, or whatever else you like, because this is a bunny with the plate. So as you can imagine, there are many ways of changing that, and I will try to give you the efficient ideas on what to do with problematic items like that. So if you are into mixed media, this may help give you like, this may be a great idea to really see what you can do with the products you may have at home. If you are just getting into this kind of art, if you're like altering things, it is just a set of good techniques, and I hope to inspire you a bit. It should be light-hearted, so my hellish bunny is going to be fairy bunny in the end of the live stream, and I hope you're going to enjoy it. Hello everybody. I can see we've got people joining. That's great. Jean says she loves Gothic because that's her thing and the eyes match perfectly. Yes, if it was before Halloween, this bunny could completely get a proper spooky makeover. However, it's springtime, so we are going into a little bit lighter notes, but you can pick the colors you like to make this set of techniques work. Because really, I was discussing that with Andrew before we started. I was asking my husband what kind of bunny that should be. Like, should it be like a white bunny, or maybe I don't know, spotted bunny, or maybe brown bunny, or whatever else. And we decided, because it's supposed to be all year round, probably we will go for like a natural look, so shades of brown and gray. In the nature, bunnies are usually either brown gray or they are white, especially in the winter time. The polar bunnies, polar rabbits, they have white color, but it's really up to you. You can imagine there are so many color options. Of course, the spotted one is going to be harder to do, mostly because you have to make the spots work. So for me, I think it's easier to make combination of the gray or brown or white without spots, because that would require a little bit of the precise painting. Hello, I can see more people joining. Karen, hello. I can see Dorothy, hello. Dina, hello. Anita, Valkyria, Carolyn and Magdalena, bardzo mi miło. We've got Cassiopeia, też mi bardzo miło. Julian and Roberta, hello. We've got international group joining. So if you want to make this live stream more visible, don't forget about subscribing and putting the thumbs up, and to share the information about live stream going wherever you want, on Facebook or on Instagram, so people may still join. I know it is Saturday, and in some places now, especially here in Ireland and I think in the UK, the weather is beautiful. So people may be gardening or on the nice walks. But I know in other parts of the world, like in Poland, the weather isn't really that nice. So I can see a lot of potential for crafting today. I spoke with my parents today and they said it was snowing in Poland. So not a good weather. Hello, Sam. Hello, Denise. Hello, everybody. We are starting any moment now. So, before we started, rainy and cold in Massachusetts. Like, great weather for making some art or watching a live stream. I found this when I was shopping for some home decor, when I needed elements like frames and so on, and it was not expensive. And I was surprised how big it is. And when you buy something online and you can't really see the things perfectly on the photos, sometimes surprises happen. I like the overall design of the rabbit. I like the fact I can put some nice things here on the tray. But when it arrived, the final look was very far from expected. So it's good to know what we can do to give it our own proper makeover. And is it worth it to try too hard, or is it better to be a little bit wise? What is really good idea and what may be problematic and maybe not worth spending too much time? I have some experience with altering and making assemblage and dimensional art, and I know some of the things are just simply hard to do, and the result is not so amazing. So it is probably better to find a smarter solution or just go to something else. Also, the set of products we're going to use, they don't have to be some special like high-end products. With the good portion of gesso and some nice acrylic paints, you can already make some great art. So let's focus on what is really doable, what is going to be like efficient way of painting it, and what we can do to make this bunny a real star of the show. Because so far I feel a little bit uneasy when it is looking at me with the red eyes. I totally agree. The crown is pretty cool. I really feel it is nice. It has this, Alice in Wonderland vibe. So I could say, yeah, there is potential, but there are also some problems. So let's have a closer look at the bunny. I'm just going to show you the look on the table. Yes, ignore my dirty mud. I just let's make it work. So first of all, disclaimer: the wings were not here. The wings are from one of the molds from Nocturnal Insects Prima mold I made. And I decided just painting the bunny may be a little bit underwhelming, so I wanted to add something extra. So the plan is to give it a new necklace. There was a very simple key necklace. So I removed it and then I made a hole by accident. And we are going to give it a new color, and we are adding the wings. This jean, this can be found I think on Amazon. I got it on one of the Chinese websites, so you can check Chinese sources. I can't recommend this place to shop because it is problematic. However, the set of techniques you can see here may be applied to any not so beautiful item. And as far as I can see, this is resin. So the material is similar to plastic and it is empty inside. I know that because we had to drill the holes to put the wings in. And as you can see, the bottom of the bunny, it has... Oh, here it is a broken paw. It is empty inside. So this little poor creature will need a little bit of extra love. I need to make a patch here so it is not going to break further. So the quality is not shocking. I'm going to take a bit of the heavy body gel and see if it's going to... It may work, but may not as well. It is not going to be visible, just don't want it to break further. I know. I will put some hot glue in that spot. So, first of all, the material. Plastic or resin. But if you have similar item that is finished with glossy paint, or you have something that is finished with the varnish, the first thing you would need to do is to make sure it is clean. That is one of the things when you buy vintage items. And the second thing is you will need to make sure this is primed so we can put our colors, our paint or waxes on the top. Before we are going to paint it, I had the idea to add beautiful metallic color on the crown and on the tray. So I want this crown to be gold and I want this tray to be gold. So it's going to look a little bit more magical. So I can use my metallic flakes for that makeover. So it's going to be rather quick. And then we are going to prime the bunny with black gesso. And we will use metallic paint on the top. There will be, of course, options of using waxes, but it's easier to paint on the top of the paints instead of painting on the top of the waxes. That's why when I plan to do a couple of layers, because we need to repaint the face, we need to add extra touches, it will be easier to use the acrylic paints. When it comes to the wings, as you can see, the design is rather tricky. So I will show you how the wing looks like taken from the mold. I'm just going to heat up some of the hot glue to fix the little paw of this bunny. And as you can see, it was just like a dragonfly wing. So what we did, we took the drill, we drilled 2 or 3 holes joined together and then fitted that wing inside of the hole. And to secure it, I used the trick with sticking embellishments on the top here. So I used a little bit of the hot glue to secure it, and then I used a good portion of the heavy body gel, which is our glue for this project, very thick and very sticky gel medium. And then these crystals, these like pebbles, they are kind of pushed inside of the heavy body gel and dried, so they secured the wings even better. What I also made here on the back of the wings, I wanted them to be pretty from the other side because it's a 3D object. So, as you can see, I was first trying to use the stencil to create the texture similar to the dragonfly wing, but it was very hard to make it work because the stencil is large and this is small. Everything was moving. So I used a bit of gel medium and then I simply stuck pieces of cotton lace on the top of the wing. So when it was dry, I took small scissors and I cut off the excess. So this way, the inside of the wings was also similar to the texture that the dragonfly or fairy wings would have. So that is giving the nice effect right away. And it's going to be really pretty after painting because once we highlight and we will add some metallic finishing touches, it's going to look much nicer than just flat wings. So it's a very simple idea, but you can use the texture taken from the fabric or some textured paper. Some people have embossing folders and you can use embossed paper to add the texture on the top of the wings as well. It's going to give the texture idea. It's going to create the effect, the illusion that it looks like real wings. So that is like the hack I used here. So as far as you can imagine, it was just like putting good portion of the gel medium. It can be heavy body gel, 3D gel, something that is a little bit thicker. Of course, I didn't prime it because gel is really sticky anyway. And then I was trying to find the best parts of the lace that is going to fit on the top of the wing. Press it down nicely. And then it was dried. When it was dry, I just cut off the excess. And that was the whole idea here. And it worked pretty well. So I can recommend. The whole process took only, maybe 15 minutes with drying. So it was not long waiting time at all. And now you can see both of the wings have really nice texture. So this was what is happening. When you make holes for the elements to fit better, it helps them dry. But please remember, when you have dimensional objects and you want some more problematic elements to dry in the right position, try to keep them the way that gravity works in the right direction. Because if you're going to dry it like this, there's always a chance the wings are going to come off. So if you can, don't rush it. It's better to plan your work a little bit in advance. It's better to prepare some of the elements and stick them earlier, and then only work when you feel like, okay, it is secure to touch. So you're not going to struggle with the elements coming off. Because when you make a flat project, it's not a problem. But when you have something that we move around in different directions, this coming off could be really a problem. That should be secure enough now. I glued them on about an hour ago, so they should be secure for us. And now we will start with the decorating the metallic tray and the metallic crown, because later on, if I have some imperfections, I can always take my black gesso and cover the imperfections with that. So you can do this trick with the metallic paint, but if you want to have over the top gold effect or silver or any other metallic color, you can easily use metallic flakes for that directly on the object. So this is going to be the shiny effect that will be much more shiny than any paint you may have. So it's absolutely worth it, I think. And in the meantime, is it hot enough to fix the foot? Well, maybe. Poor thing. Show me your foot. Oh, your little paw. Poor little bunny. Don't touch it. I almost did it. We have to wait a little bit. That should secure it enough so we can work around it without any problems. Just try to remove the things that are not really needed here. Spaghetti effect. Okay, let it dry and we will get the metallic flake effect ready. I've got gold because I really wanted to have gold, and you can mix your own thing if you prefer. This is not a problem. The product we need is gilding glue. Excuse my bottle, it's really almost empty. I hope I will have enough. If not, I will get another one. But I really like to, empty the thing before throwing that away. So this bottle, it's been used a lot of times. So the gilding glue, I always mention that when we make gilding techniques, you don't really have to put any special primer before it. On most of the surfaces, it's going to stick anyway. So it is rather efficient technique. Hello, hello. I can see you are joining. Wonderful, wonderful. And then I will just take it and apply it on the surfaces where I want my metallic flakes to stick. So in that case, we are putting one rather thin coat of the glue on the crown. And then on the tray. I have too much glue, but too late for that. I have to work with what I have. Try to make the application of the glue as thin as possible, because we don't need extra textures. We just want the metallic flakes to stick. As you can see, the glue is white, but it's going to turn transparent very soon. And when it is transparent, it is the sticky time. This is the time when it is the most sticky. And this is the time when we apply our metallic flakes. So it's not about putting thick coats, it's more about touching everything with your glue. So in that case, we will make a golden tray and golden crown. If you have any questions about this technique, there's also a live stream recording from probably 2 or 3 years ago when I was explaining the techniques with the metallic flakes. But it's rather easy as long as you keep in mind that you have to give this glue a chance to dry. So it's not really truly dry. Like, get transparent, and you don't need a big portion. Then you should be fine with your application. So as you can see, I'm trying to touch every surface of the tray with the gilding glue. So we will use quite a good bunch of the metallic flakes. But I try to keep that layer thin, so it dries faster. We don't have to wait too long. I also figured I want to give my bunny a new necklace. And I was thinking I can use the bottle cap and then put a heart on the top. And I think this heart may get a little bit of the metallic flake as well now. So it's going to be nice and gold. So I put it on the side. I put it on the side. So double checking, I think I've got it everywhere. But in case, if I went outside of the lines, remember the next layer will be gesso. So gesso will cover all the metallic flakes that are not in the right position. Now it is time to dry it. You can use your heat gun. And I will dry the glue until it looks transparent. It will be much easier to dry on the tray than on the crown, but I am doing my best. Hello, hello. Good to see you guys. It's a pleasure to work here with you. Remember, you can easily share this live stream on your social media and invite your friends. It's open for everybody. Yes, Venice sounds like a very good combination. Just to show you the Venice. Look at that. This is Venice. Gold and pink and red together. Absolutely delightful. So that bunny will have no regrets when it comes to color choices. We're just simply doing plain gold, but there will be a little bit antiquing that we can do in the very nice details of that tray. So I hope it's going to give us very nice opportunities to make some of the effects shine. Okay, almost there. You can see how glossy it is now. It feels like it's ready for application. Oh, it is very tacky. So now, bit by bit, metallic flakes, and we take the flakes. You can also use the metallic sheets. It's basically the same thing, just bigger pieces. And we stick them on the top of our design, trying to spread it as much as possible. So this way, we make a nice coat of the metallic finish on the top of the tray and on the top of the crown. And then the leftovers we can use wherever we want. For example, on the little heart we have here waiting. Oh, these are really big pieces. It's easier to cover the tray this way. Remember, it's not about putting many layers because they are not going to stick more in than just in one place, because this is how it works. Wherever the flake is touching the glue, this is the space where it's going to stick. So it's better to spread it and let it go in the right places. Move it with your fingers into the spots that you can see they are not covered yet. So I'm trying to be efficient and go everywhere I can. Here, there's a lot of texture going on, so I will have to push it with something. My finger may not be enough. I will try to take a brush and push it in. Of course, if you feel like it, you can cover the whole bunny with gold. It's also a look that may be quite inspiring, and then adding some vintage touches on the top. I'm sure some people would love it. But I was thinking I would like to show you a wider range of techniques, not just metal flakes. So metal flakes are a great idea, but we can do much more. Let's push it in. So now I just push it with the brush in all these textures, wherever I can, to make these flakes stick. It's not going to be perfect because there's a lot of texture, but it will be really shiny enough. I give it a chance to stick, and now I'm just going to push it in the textures of the tray as well. And after that, we can brush off the excess. Okay, pushing everywhere I can to make sure it is possible to stick it. So how do you think? Gold enough? It's already better like this, but that is a great start. And now I've got this little heart. I can use these leftovers from the table to cover the heart for the bunny necklace. If you miss a spot when you put your metallic flakes, you can always apply more glue and make a patch of the metallic flake as well. So don't worry about that. Yeah, the gold is bright. Absolutely. And we will work on the antiquing it a little bit later on. Now, let's make it sit for a second, and then I will take a stiff brush, for example, something like this, and I will brush off the excess. So all these breaking pieces of the metallic flake, they will go off. I just need to go over my rubbish bin, so this is not going to be all here in front of you, otherwise we will never clean that space. But you can see that will be the thing I'm going to do. I'm just going to use the brush to take off the excess of the metallic flake. So you can see how shiny it is. So that will be the piece of the necklace. And now The bunny needs a little bit of the brushing off. I'll be back in a second. If you have any questions, let me know. Because I can see the chat. You can see the crown has the details again. Oh, it's so shiny, it's hard to get in focus, but you can see how nice the finishing touches is. Because it's a little bit imperfect, it even has some antiquing on it. Now I need to brush off the metallic flake from the tray. The metallic flakes are super lightweight, so it's better to keep them under control. For example, work inside of like a pizza box or shoe box, or maybe far away from the potential threats such as air conditioning or fan. It's better not to sneeze. You can see this is the result we got. I missed a spot here, but it's okay. Look, if I really want to, I can add some glue and make a tiny patch. With the leftovers. So now, even if I was not very careful and I was outside of the lines, now with the gesso I could easily cover the metallic flake because it's super, super delicate texture. It is basically not possible to see the texture coming from the metallic flake. So in the end, it's really easy to cover that with your gesso if you want that. See, the little patch is done. So, because I want the bunny to be natural looking bunny, I would like to brush some brown and gray color. So I was thinking I'm going to use combination of the metallic paints to give a nice shiny finish, and I've got hazelnut metallic paint that will be like background color, and then I may be brushing white pearl metallic paint, or I may be brushing some gray shades of the waxes as highlights, and these will be either old silver or brushed iron. So the color in the sixth part is going to be more gray, and in other parts it's going to be more brown. We also have some areas that require a bit of pink color. And I have impasto paint, which is matte finish, very nice for the colors inside of the ears or the face and the nose. And I can always add a little bit of the red touch to it, mixing that with the hint of red paint. Yes, natural looking bunny with wings. It's a fairy bunny. Absolutely. You know me, nothing can be simple. So if I can make it magical, I will. It's already wearing a crown, so hello. So now the plan is we're going to paint it black, including the wings, because the wings are going to be painted with super shiny paints. And these wings, they are going to get a makeover after gesso. We need to prime it anyway. So let's start with preparing our lovely bunny. I'm going to put a matte in here. I don't have to paint inside of the ears or the face directly, but all the other parts except metallic gold, it's going to be painted. So where is my black gesso? Black gesso is a great solution because it's going to create the natural shadow and it's going to help our metallic paints really pop. Henna brown. That's pretty color as well. So wish me luck. I will try to avoid the crown. And if you wonder what we are going to do with those eyes, well, this, because it's already better. It's already better like that. I'm going to be more careful with the smaller brush closer to the tray, but now I just go with the larger brush and I cover everything and I prime everything. You can't really be too quick with this because you have to hold it and you have to move it around. So I will paint the top part and dry it, and then I will be able to paint the bottom part. I'm not worried it's dirty inside of the ears because the impasto paints, they are covering anyway. I just try to be efficient. That would be the best way to describe it. Yeah, creepy eyes are gone. Now they are black. They're creepy in another way. And this is why I wanted the wings to be dry enough, because now I can easily paint with my gesso around them and on the top of them. So I don't have to worry they're going to come off. So for the people who joined only now, the wings were not the part of the original design. They are made with one of my molds, so Finnabair mold, into nocturnal insects. And then we drilled hole in the back of the bunny. And then it was glued in and secured with the extra crystals on the top. So now we have gemstone textures in there. But worry not, this is not the end yet. We are going to paint it all with the shiny paint. I would gesso first, then the flakes. I would make a mess of the flakes. See, the thing is, it's very hard to control where the flakes go. You can try to be precise with your application, and for me it is easier to paint carefully around them and cover the ones that went wrong instead of the opposite thing. I tried both options in the past and it's more efficient for me to go this way. But you may be completely different. Don't worry about that. Do it the way that is logical for you. I think I missed a spot somewhere. Yeah, I missed one spot here. Gesso dries rather fast, so we don't have to wait too long. Armpits, don't forget the armpits. It's like having a shower. You have to go in all the possible places. Okay, that should be enough. Now I will switch to the smaller brush. And this is how I messed up. Sorry. This is how I try to get to the locations which are a little bit problematic. I just go with a smaller brush in there. There's metallic flake I didn't really pick up yet. Okay. So armpit. Let's look from the bottom. Good news is black gesso is really covering, so you don't have to put many layers. Just one is enough. Okay. Hello, hello, Gabby. So the forehead. So now if I was outside of the lines with my metallic flake, the gesso would cover that easily and quickly. I think I missed one spot here, so I'm going to clean it up with the... It's already much better. You don't have to paint them inside, but it was just too pink and bothering me, so I did it. So now, before I can paint the bottom, I will simply dry the top so I can hold it upside down for a moment. We covered, I would say, 80% of the bunny. So let's give it a moment of drying. Uh-oh, look, I missed the arm here. So 70%, not 80. So you can see the bunny was covered with some kind of metallic finish, but it was very sloppy painting. And that means it was not really beautiful. And on the top of that, this metallic paint was a potential problem. It could be resisting with so your acrylic paints on the top possibly could be not staying as well. So starting this kind of project with gesso is a very good idea. Okay, I think now it is fine. Let's dry it. Uh-oh. You always find a spot. Have you got any questions or suggestions? Maybe you would like to see a certain color. Now we have to dry it nicely so I can take it in my hand. You can see the gesso turns matte, and that means it is drying. In general, matte finish means it is ready for the next step. Of course, we speed up the process with the heat gun. But it doesn't take too long to get to the results that are just right. Yeah, it is better already. I totally agree. Will you be using the rust effect on the bunny? No, I don't think so. I'm going to do a tiny bit of the okay, let's say brown reddish tones inside of the crown and on the tray. So it will be rusty looking, but it's not like rust effect paste, for example. So it will be more painted than anything. I was more planning for brown, but if we add a hint of orange, it's going to be like rusty. Okay, let's dry the belly. Okay, I can see I missed some spots here on the wings. That was the texture coming from the cotton lace. That's why in some angles it was showing, but worry not, gesso will do it. Okay. Now putting the bunny upside down, and we continue with the leftover part. Because there is a lot of texture on the bunny, you need to probably brush it a little bit heavier with heavy hand to get in all of the textures. So it's not about putting a lot of product, it's just like brushing in circles in different directions. So it's easier to get into the creases and in between the fur texture. We want to prime everything so our next paints or waxes, they are going to stick much better. This metallic paint that was here, it's something that it's hard to predict what is going to be the result of that. So gesso is always the good start. Okay. I'm just checking from all the possible angles. So let's dry the bottom part now. Let's dry the bum and try to put it back on the table. So far we didn't really make anything complicated. There was a bit of a technique with the metallic flakes and now covering everything with black gesso, which already makes it nicer because it is a good blank canvas. But in the end, it was just a simple step, so we don't have to worry too much. It's good to dry the paint or the gesso enough, which is ready to be painted, completely dry, so there will be no surprises. Because we don't want our paints to mix with black gesso, of course. In the meantime, we can prepare a little bit of the pink matte paint that is going to go inside of the ears and on the nose. So Dusty Rose is one of the pinks from the Impasto line. They are really matte finish. So let's take a little bit of that paint. I'm just going to move the bunny around. A little bit of white, because you never know, it may be a bit of too dark, all right? And then we have a tiny touch of red, just in case if we want to make more flesh color. Will you do the wings a different color to the rest of the bunny? Yes, I think so. I'm not sure what color yet. We can vote on that because it will be like the last thing to do. And I want them to be really sparkly, so we can decide, do we want them to be more green or more pink or some other combination of colors. We can also use some special effect pastes on the top. I think the fairy wings should be a bit different because the bunny is supposed to be brown gray. So, you know, it needs a little bit of extra touch, I think. There will be one more thing that I want to do. I want to add a necklace to the bunny, but because again it will be a bit of challenging drying, I will do it later on, and there will be necklace here, and then I will decide, do I want to make extra chain for that or some other elements. But I will be just doing that in the last step of the project because I want to make sure everything else is done. Adding the necklace is just a tiny detail. It should be enough. So now I need to make a little bit of paint that will go on the face and inside of the ears. Yes, sparks, Caroline, you are right. I want the wings to be really special. I'm looking for the smaller brushes. So it's easier for me to paint inside. Let's try to make a bit of the custom mix for the flesh color. I couldn't really find the color that would be like perfect, so I just decided to make it myself. A little bit more lively than this one and a little bit lighter as well. That's why we mix red, we mix Dusty Rose and white, so the color is going to be more like flesh color. Because we need to paint the nose and the ears. I'm going to paint everything here. Don't worry, it is a little bit sloppy, but then we are going to use the metallic paints on the top as well. So we will make sure the details are perfect. And inside of the ears. I'll put 2 coats, so it is going to cover nicely. Do I have to varnish the gold flakes? No. Gold flakes are permanent finish. Until you will scratch them with something really sharp, they're not going to come off. The bunny. Well, it's not cute yet, but it's getting better. All the little imperfections, they may be fixed later on. So, did I see your message above? No. Yes. That's a good reminder. Thank you so much, Dorothy. And I will make sure to do it this week. Thank you. And thank you for reminding. So now, I think the best result we're going to get if we paint it brown, and then we will do the highlights with gray. So it's going to look like a little bit, you know, like in the nature. I'm not going to paint the wings. We will try to keep it more or less natural. I know this is not natural with all these details, but I think we're getting there. So the color I was looking at to start with is one of the metallic paints. This is metallic brown, nice and warm. The color is called Hazelnut from Art Alchemy Metallic Collection. And I will try to brush it on, not too heavily. So I will take a brush and I will start with dry brushing, so you will see parts of the black gesso undertone through it. So this way we will keep the shadows visible. And then on the top we're going to put gray, and that may be either silver paint, or we can go with waxes on the top. Why not starting with waxes? Because maybe we will would like to paint some more, and that means it's good to have more of this flexibility. Waxes don't like to be painted. It's hard to paint on the top of them with acrylics because they resist. So I give myself a little bit more of the flexibility using the paint instead of the wax. So I take a good portion of it, and now we will be brushing that on the top. So as you can see, with the dry brush, I start adding a coat of the metallic paint. And of course, in the selected parts, like for example, next to the face, I will need to be more careful. But in the other parts, I don't have to be that much worried. So every time when I pick up the color, I remove the excess, and then with the light hand, I apply the texture. Well, the paint on the texture. Just to show you how it works. Keep in mind, this is first layer, so it's not going to be final color. It's like the beginning of the story. Hello, hello, good to see you. We are repainting the bunny into more natural colors. And you can make as many layers as you wish. This is like the nice about that technique. You don't have to stop after one layer. If you decided, oh, this is not enough, you can continue. And I'm sure in some points of the project I will need more. So when you paint, you don't have to put a lot of paint in the places where it's natural shadow. I can put quite a lot in here, but here I'd only put a little bit. So kind of naturally some parts stay darker, and that is like the logical place, like in the armpits or in the places where there are not other natural shadows, like next to the legs. Oh, come on. Okay, so let's see the other leg. In some parts I go heavier, for example on the top of the legs here. So most of the rabbits, they have white part on the tail, on the back of the tail, so we will do that. And sometimes the top tips of the paws, they are also white, and or tips of the ears. So these are cute little details we can add to make it look more pretty and more natural. So don't forget about that part as well. Yeah, options. Sometimes the belly is also white. So if you are not sure what you want to get, you can always check how bunnies look like in real life and use it as your inspiration. Or if you make a fantasy one, if you want to make a fantasy one, then of course it's going to be the colors of your choice, right? 8 p.m. UK time? Oh, no, we always start at 7. I don't know what was the problem. Hello. Interesting. Maybe there was some kind of misunderstanding again with the time zones, but We are in the same time zone. Maybe Facebook made something funny. Because if you looked at the timing on Facebook, that could be one of the reasons. So now I'm getting closer to the face, right? And then that means we have to be more careful. I will take a smaller brush. Whew. This is the time when it's getting a little it's getting a little bit stressful because we are getting so close to the face. Let's get the... I know you can always come back and, you know, fix the problems, but it's nice when you don't have to. Precise painting is not my strongest side, just saying. So now I will try to paint it closer to the face and do a little bit of the painting around the nose and here and on the ears. I'm overlapping the pink a bit so it looks more like flesh. And now edges of the ears. You can see I already hold it in my hand because when you don't apply a lot, the paint dries rather quickly. My Facebook said 8 p.m. Don't trust my Facebook ever. That was my friend setting up. I don't know why she made 8 p.m. or maybe Facebook was confusing the time zones. I don't know. So we have the first layer on. This is the hazelnut metallic paint. Let's think if there's any other place where we need to add a little bit more. Probably here on the back and on the sides a little bit more to get it more saturated. If we need to come back to the pink, this is not a problem. We have it on our palette. So on the top of the black gesso, we put the first color on. So now we have to also remember about painting the wings, but maybe let's paint the bunny first and then focus on the wings. White spots on the bunny. That will be always fun. So the white spots, for sure, it should be on the tail. Later on, we can touch it with some metallic. Sometimes, as we said, they have like a tips of the paws. So like toes. Should we make a whiter belly? It's up to you. Let me know. Do you want a little bit of a whiter belly as well? A little bit inside of the ears. Well, I may be 1 hour ahead. This is really interesting though. It's confusing. Anyway, I hope you will forgive me. I don't want to confuse anyone. So far, so good. So we added the white color in the popular spots. So a little bit on the toes, a little bit on the fingers. A little bit on the face. And I plan to highlight that using metallic paint later on. Now we can debate, do we want the white belly and what color the wings are supposed to be? Hello, hello. Yeah, looks like a lot of people got confused with the timing. I have to make sure next time it's not going to be confusing. I don't know why things like that happen. So a little bit inside of the ears. So we want the white belly or not? A touch on the white belly. Okay, touch on the white belly. A tiny bit. I will take a bigger brush then. I take the same white impasto paint and let's give it a little bit of the white on the belly. We will put 2 coats, but then I think I'm going to add a bit of the color with the metallic as well, so white metallic is doing the job. So we have the whitish belly. We have the tail. And now, very big challenge. Putting the eyes. I paint them white to put the black later on. That will be easier for me. I put the whites first. Looks a little bit creepy now. Forgive me. Yeah, I think now the bunny gets in touch with another dimension and things happen. So it is temporary though. Before we are going to brush the gray and add the metallic white highlight, we should agree on the color of the wings. Do we want the pink wings? Do we want the green wings? We kind of have pinkish color already, so that may work. Hello, hello, good to see you. Yeah, like Abra from Doctor. Not pink. Well, I can't hear you. How about the color we used last time, but works really nicely for the dragonflies? Fairy wings. Okay, we agreed without even reading. Well, bright white eyes could be really special. First of all, we now, for the eyes, we have the bright white, so we can put anything we want on it. I don't close the brown yet because it may be helpful. I put these guys on the side, so we will go with the Sparks Fairy Wings, and this color is beautiful gold with green. And this is going to be our starting point. As you can see, it's pretty amazing. So it's going to be the first color we apply here, but I would like the gems to be a little bit more colorful too. So I will start with this fairy wings, but you never know what is going to happen later on. Because one tone, it will be a little bit disappointing. You know, these are fairy wings. So we will need to add a tiny bit of other colors as well. And don't forget the wings have two sides. And now you can see why it was worth it to put the lace on the top of the wing on the other side, because now we have really pretty texture. So the bunny gets a proper makeover. I'm just using the side of the brush to paint the texture. I want to see the lace. I don't want to paint too deep. I hope that makes sense. See how nice and pretty it is. If you have a problem with the molds like that you see both sides, that may be a solution. Make the texture on the other side instead of trying to repaint it. We can add another color later on once we will see the final color of the bunny, because we can add a bit of coral, or we can add a bit of red, or a bit of, well, not blue. I think warmer colors will be better here. But you can see how efficient this solution is. Everything will be metallic. That's why I don't want to leave these parts done with the impasto white as they are, because they look flat, while everything on the rabbit is super shiny, and I want it to be metallic, right? So we will add a touch of the white pearl later on to give like a glaze finish. That's a good start. So a bit of fairy green, maybe some of the opal magic. Yeah, it is going to be a very sparkly one, but we agreed it is a fairy bunny, right? So of course it has to be sparkly. I make ornaments and usually just add wax on the back, but the lace, fantastic. Yeah, the lace made it really a nice trick. I was showing how I did it in the first moments of the live stream. So if you didn't see it, you can just see, but it was just sticking the lace with the gel medium, and then after drying, cutting off the excess. Let's dry it. And then I have to figure what color of the gray I want to brush on the top. So, we've got old silver, which is very light, and we have brushed iron. We've got graphite as well. So we will see which one makes sense. Because after this, we will be working on the finishing touches on the crown and the tray, on the face, on the wings. It's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. So let's make it happen. White pearl paint. So later on, for the belly, for the white parts of the ears and everything, we can use the white pearl. I think because that's supposed to be, you know, gray, like the bunny from the field, we could try brushed iron. I feel it's going to be a good try, so let's give it a chance. It's one of the waxes which is silver, but this silver is darker silver, just to show you how it looks like here, right? So it should give us nice gray touches. Let's take a medium-sized brush. This one was used with silver, apparently. Load the brush. And let's give our bunny a little bit of a grayish tones as well. I don't want to kill the brown completely, so kind of trying to be careful. But I'm not sure if I like it. I think it took a little bit too much, to be honest. I was trying to be careful, yet it's gray. Meh. So looks like we have to go back to the brown and add more brown. That was a good experiment, but the gray is overpowering. I have to be more precise about where the brown goes and where the gray goes. I can't just put one on the top of another. So let's put the gray on the pose. You love chocolate? Well, not so much. I prefer cake. So, apparently what happened? Gray was too gray. But don't worry. In the case that happens, we can always run to the rescue and get brown again. Just put it in different locations, not the same as gray. So we will try to keep them in different areas. So we will see what happens. I've got Bronze Age. Metallic paint is not going to work because it's going to resist. So we will try to take a bit of the brown. So I was clumsy. I did too much. So we bring back the brown. Using the brown wax. Where is this brown? So there will be more gray on the pose and more brown on the body. It's a shame that the whole hazelnut is gone. But what can I do? There's no way I can do much at this point. I was too heavy-handed, and this is my punishment. Well, it is okay, but hazelnut is gone. Okay, I think we saved it. Now we need to make the white a little bit whiter. but the plan was the hazelnut. Well, it is similar if you compare the color, but hazelnut is more vibrant. So now we have gray parts on the paws, and then we have the gray ears and the gray top of the nose. What kind of... Okay, now the white. I need to clean my hands, and then I'll be back to the white, I promise. The bunny is going to stare at you. So now, some parts we are going to make more metallic so it matches. Some parts we will tone down a little bit. So first, delicate touches of white pearl. The wax is very, very wet, so I will try to hold him through the paper towel. A bit of that white tones on the face, so kind of matches the metallic on the fur, and a little bit here. So there will be a tiny bit of the white. I know the eyes are creepy, but bear with me. And now a little bit of the gray on the white. Is there anything left in here? Okay, here we go. The tail. Tone down. Now, a little bit of the finishing touches. We can start with antiquing the tray and the crown. For that, we can use the transparent brown liquid acrylic and a little bit of the other colors. Then we can add the touches on the top of the face. But first, antiquing the tray so it looks better. And of course, we have to finish the wings. The wings, they need something extra. This is just underwhelming, but it's much better than it was. If you think about the colors we had before and the eyes and everything, this bunny is turning into much more acceptable project. So I put the waxes on the side for now. We have the paints here. Let's do some of the brown on the belly as well. That's better. That's really nice. In fact, so burnt sienna. This is ink black, just with the stupid cup. I just decided to confuse myself. So a bit of this is going to give the nice antiquing results. Burnt sienna is a transparent paint, acrylic. It's not going to cover everything perfectly because it is transparent. And it's a beautiful shade of brown. So now we can add a bit of the vintage touch here and there. Add some water to make the antiquing look more natural. Waxes are not going to be affected at all because they are resisting. So now we can give a little bit of the antiquing touch here. Just first layer to put a little bit of that color in. I keep thinking, what is another color I should use on the wings? Something that's going to make them pop a little bit more, because now it's a little bit sad. And don't forget, I have to make a necklace. Ginger magic maybe, or purple. Amber is a little bit more gray, so it may not be enough, but you can see this is what we wanted to do. We wanted to create a bit of the antique effect. Bright gold. I'm not sure if I have such bright gold that may sit in there, but I will try. In fact, some ginger magic may be a good idea. Maybe let's add a tiny bit of the carmine to add a little bit of the rusty touch to the tray as well. Turquoise. I think what I need to do, this is the part of the necklace. The necklace will have to match the color of the wings. So we have the gold here. So this color will be the color of the wings, so I have to keep that in mind. I take the rusty color now. I add a little bit of rusty as well. I know some of you may be excited about that. Of course, it's not going to stay that colorful, but it's adding something exciting. Carmine is a great color for the rusty touches, and it is something that is surely visible. It makes me happy as well. I totally agree. Looks absolutely amazing on the top of the metallic flake. So, you know. Yes, rust is orange, it's brown, it's even yellow at sometimes. So it depends where it goes. Just look at that. Sorry. So if the necklace was to match the wings, we painted black. And then we add fairy wings. I have an idea. Because so far it feels disjointed. I think we need to add some rusty on the wings and some green on the tray. It's going to be interesting. You know, you have to pull it together somehow. Thank you. I can put the necklace later on, but at least I can paint it and see what is going to happen. Sepia on tray. Oh, with another color. And we still have to decide on the rabbit's eyes. I can make their eyes just black, like they are in the nature. That is possible. Or we can give it magical eyes, because of course we are in the realm of the fairy bunnies. What I really think is like we need to take this color a little bit further, because it's a magical color. On the gems, crystals. So it looks like it's like a fairy dust coming off the wings a little bit. something. There is something in the darkness. Hello, hello. Dark brown eyes. That may be a solution. Today we're making a ugly bunny makeover. So we make a rather special bunny. I'm adding accents of the green on the other parts of the project now. Baby wipe. Stone eyes. You mean like real stones? True, I can finally use the hazelnut brown. Okay, so we have a trace of this green on the back. So now we can try to put gold and orange on the wings. There it is, Sparks Dragon's Eye, which is gold. But it doesn't really show the difference, so no, it's too similar. Ginger Magic Sparks. Okay, that is better. So we pull it together now. The tray and the crown and the wings, they kind of start to speak the same language, which makes sense. No worries, no worries. Late or not, we are glad you are here. You can always watch the replay as well. And, you know, don't forget you can always send it to your friends and invite them to watch, maybe even together with you. I think I like the wings much better now. But this is not the end. It kind of is better. So we used the combination of the ginger magic and the fairy wings in the end. Let's dry it and touch a hint of the rusty touches. Now we can blend the green together with the brown. But looks much better. So it is going to go like this and like this. This is the necklace. So now, before I will stick it, there's also a chain here. I can try to paint, and I have to paint the eyes. I know I was avoiding this problem because I'm terrified, but I will do my best. First of all, let's make some flesh color to make sure the nose looks more natural. I'm mixing a touch of crimson together with the tiny bit of the carmine. This color is like a pinkish. Why do I have to use the worst possible brush for this? I don't know. Okay, size 0. I'm just adding a trace of color here. Look at the change. This trace of color brings the more like a lifelike effect. Can you see? Oh no, Dorothy, you have to be more careful. You are precious. You can't do things like that. Please be careful. Okay. And now the trace of the same color goes in here and in here. It looks more like it is in the nature when you put a tiny bit of the color like that. Just a little hint. You could do it with the legs as well. Okay. Hazelnut eyes. Yes, no red fangs, no. Let's try to use the hazelnut to put the color in. I have a feeling they look too similar. I have a feeling they are lost in this phase. Well, things like that happen, so we have to figure out what to do. I have a plan. Let's give it a bit of a green. Well, it's a magical bunny. So the eyes are green and brown. Now I can see them. This is the whole point, I guess. Okay, let's dry and add the finishing touches. So I'm not the master of painting the eyes, but I'll do my best. I'm not breathing. This is the whole problem. I'm afraid to... Okay, that's better. So the eyes are green-brown. A white dot on the top of this. Okay. And then I need a tiny bit of black, because here I got out of the line. I don't see white spot on this way. Green-eyed monster! Oh no, what you are saying is not true. It's still a very cute bunny. It's just golden eyes, brown and golden eyes. Okay, now the rather stressful part, painting the chain. Surely this is something else. So the necklace will be visible again. Okay, so when we stick this, it's going to be nicely visible. And we need to put some rusty color on the wings as well. I also have the feeling the nose needs a tiny touch of gold. So this paint is full of the golden mica powder. So I'm going to water it down and add a bit of gold to the poles and to the tail. Okay. So a bit of carmine on the wings, I guess. Yes, there are no red eyes anymore. Now we have golden brown eyes. And we're playing with the color, pulling it all together nicely. Yeah, it's a fairy bunny. Absolutely. So what do you think about this effect on the wing? It's going to match the crown and the tray. Come on. My apron just came off for some reason. So, picking the colors. This is the carmine from liquid acrylics, and then we just put it in and spray some water. pick up the excess with the baby wipe and then playing with the colors a little bit more. Yeah, it's, you know, for me it's like all year round bunny because I don't usually hide my decoration, so it's going to be like pretty stones holding bunny or like jewelry holding bunny. But with these colors it can go for Easter as well because these are the yellows and greens of the wings, and it may be Easter one if you put eggs in there. So it's very likely it will be my earring holding bunny. Or my other pieces of jewelry. It's good size, so there are many options here. So imagine I stick this necklace here and I add a tiny bit of the carmine around it, maybe. We can also, in the last moment, we can add some little fairy dust splats around the wings. Maybe bigger brush will be faster, in fact. So I'm using this Ginger Magic. I'm not sure how much of that will be visible, but we will see after drying. Yeah, it is visible. You know, fairy wings usually have a bit of fairy dust around it. So we are just playing with the finishing touches, but basically I think we can proclaim it finished very soon. How do you like the color palette in the end? Is the balance between brown and gray something you like? Yes, I think I have to, Dorothy. This is surely His Royal Highness Bonnie. Putting a little bit of the golden dots on the cheeks as well. But you know, I'm just fiddling here with the details. It doesn't have to be done. Let's dry. And the necklace goes in, and that's it. So before we finish, I will ask you, do you have any questions? Is there anything you would like me to explain? You can use similar concept for anything. Like you can easily repaint once you have gesso on. So you can use your metallic flakes, you can use your metallic paints or waxes. Here, unfortunately, my first layer of paint was gone due to my heavy-handedness, let's call it this way. And now it is like a proper bunny you can put somewhere. You know, the tray is up for for ideas. You can do anything depending on the season. If it's Easter season, you celebrate Easter, you can put your eggs in there. If you want to have it as a all year round decoration, you use it as a key holder, jewelry holder, crystal holder, a special memo holder. You can put the business cards here if you run a business. It's really up to you. I feel the space here with a bit of the double-sided tape because it was so empty. But anyway, we will stick too much. We will stick our necklace in the right position. Still too much. Wow. Looks like it is really empty in here. Oh, okay. Maybe one layer then. And then we will stick the necklace and let it dry flat. Like this. On the wings. With the heart on the top. How about this? Yes, it is a bottle cap. In fact, it is a champagne cup. When you get a bottle of champagne or sparkling wine, there is like this metal cap on the top. And because the breast of the bunny was so rounded, anything I was trying to put in here was not in the right position. So I decided to use the cap. And now it's going to stick in the right position. It's going to look really nice. So now in the end, once I finish, once it is dry, I can always take a touch of carmine and add a little bit of the rusty touches here. So everything is from the same color palette. Yeah, if you have a business, this kind of a element, this decorative element would be perfect for putting business cards, I think. I'm happy you like it, Dorothy. I will try to show you that in the right position. Hopefully the cap is not going to go down. So I will try to be quick, okay? 200% eye improvement. Thank you. I really like it brown, to be honest, but it would be really cute if it was white as well. I only have one bunny, though. I can't make more. What are you smearing in the back of the... heavy body gel. I use it for gluing down of all of the elements. I was just gluing down the necklace in here. I want it to dry like this so it's not sliding. All of these little details that I used here, I glued with the heavy body gel. So when I stick some elements, I usually use the gel medium. So I hope the bunny was fun to watch. And quickly changing the camera angle. That's me again. So the bunny is not so demonic anymore. It's a fairy bunny now. I like the eyes in the end. I think if it was more like lifelike, I would use the black gesso to make the eyes, to make them really black. But because we have fairy wings, now the bunny has a bit of the magical vibe in it. Of course, if you stick something like that may be sliding, you have to use your heat gun or just let it dry in this position so it's going to naturally dry in the right way. So I hope the set of ideas worked for you. It's a lot of little details that you can do. I was trying to show you some ways that how you can add extra details to the eyes or face. It's not only painting with white and pink. You can layer a lot of other paints to get the results more lifelike or more like natural thingies. So now it's very fairy tale Alice in Wonderland fairy bunny. But if that was a gothic bunny, we would definitely change the wings into the bat wings. Or we would make it more in the purples. Or we would even make some special extra vampire teeth, or we would even make it into a jackalope, adding the horns, adding the stag horns on the top. But the concept is very simple. Yeah, concept is very simple. You take the project that you don't like and then you prime it with the black gesso or white gesso. So you make sure all of your paints or waxes are going to stick nicely. We're bunny. Yes, that would be very cute. Maybe I need to buy another one for Halloween. And then you can add a lot of the elements on the top. Metallic flakes are absolutely amazing here because the color of the gold is hard to beat. Even if once we added the green, we added the rusty, it's still super shiny. So it is a great finish if you like the sparkly touches. And if you're looking for more like subtle tones, the metallic paints and metallic waxes, they give you that. Layering more than one color gives you depth. So 2 stones for teeth. So you can see the gesso is still visible in the parts where the natural shadows happen, right? And then we painted the other layers with a bit of brown, then too much of the gray, then again brown. And absolutely one layer on the top of another. Remember, the waxes, they don't really like to be painted on, so try to keep them as a last layer. While acrylics, they give you much more of the working options, so you can layer one acrylic on the top of another. I used some matte acrylics, such as impasto white or impasto pink. I have to see how it looked before. If you go to my feed on Instagram, you will see the close-up photo. Or on Facebook. It was not a beautiful bunny. The shape was the same, but the colors were completely different. So it's in fact not complicated project to do. The more you play with the paints, the more you try different effects and layers, the more depth you are going to get. So like level 1 will be painting with the black gesso and rubbing the metallic waxes on. Level 2 is combining acrylic paints with waxes and adding extra touches in the ears and on the face. Level 3 is starting to add more of the detailed elements in the colored in the eyes, antiquing on the tray, and so on and so on. So there are so many levels it may be done on. So the basic one is, of course, simple repainting, making sure you see the shadows and the highlights, and then we can make it more and more complicated. So I hope I showed you a range of different options to do, and you feel encouraged to try to give a new life to some of the objects, maybe not your favorite at the moment, but they have a lot of potential. This is not typically Easter project, but I was thinking a bunny in April before Easter is going to be a logical solution, a logical project to make. However, I absolutely suggest these kind of things maybe all year round. And sometimes you can see a bit problematic home decor. So give them a chance. Sometimes you can buy something cheap on the flea market, and then they are great blank canvas for your mixed media activities. So I wish you a wonderful creative time. I promise to take nice photos of the fairy bunny. I feel tempted to buy another one if they're still there, and keep it for Halloween to make a were bunny. Were bunny would be really a nice project. You tempted me. You know, it's easy to tempt me to make fun and a little bit unusual projects. I like everything gothic, so especially my patrons, if you want to see the Halloween Were Bunny version of it, let me know. That is something that is possible to do. I would have to get another one, but I have still a lot of time until Halloween. Yeah, the unusual is fun. We have to have some, crazy ideas as well, and we make it too much our taste and expectations. So you win with all of your projects. Oh, I don't think so. Sometimes they are really, really funny. So thank you so much for watching and being here. Just a reminder for patrons, next weekend we have our Patreon live stream happening, so save the date. And that is the same time as usual, so 7 p.m. of my time, 8 p.m. of Central European time. I think this is 11 Eastern time, 2 p.m. Pacific time. And if you didn't see the beginning of the project, you should see how it all started, how the bunny looked before, and how we primed everything and painted with the metallic effects on the top. Have a wonderful weekend. Try to be safe, as Dorothy said. If you have some nice weather, try to use it a little bit. Try to enjoy the sunshine. If you have bad weather, stay inside and do some crafting. Thank you so much. I hope the bunny meets your expectations now. So the demonic eyes are not so demonic anymore. We have sun again here in Spain. Yes, so you should. And we had such a dry weather here in Ireland, we can't believe it. I think it's much better. Thank you so much, Lorena. Thank you, thank you. Yeah, I think the wings are worth it. I'm really proud of the lace effect on the back of the wings. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much. Don't forget to subscribe and to send it to your crafty friends, because The more people see it, the more likely more people will get inspired. Good night. Wonderful rest of the weekend. Good afternoon. Good morning to some of you, I guess. Bye.